NBC senior political reporter Perry Bacon, Washington editor for the National Review, Eliana Johnson, and Democratic strategist Steve McMahon. Eliana, has Donald Trump flip-flopped?
Of course. I mean, I think this really shows, though, that Trump has been an ideological Rorschach test for many members of the Republican Party and many people supporting him. So for immigration hardliners, they saw in him an immigration hardliner and believed that, as they are, he also was a true believer and an immigration hawk. And now, you know, this is the issue that arguably drove him to success in the primary. And they're seeing now that he's willing to sell them down the river. And I think really having to come to terms with it, I can tell you that immigration hawks, knowledgeable policy immigration hawks who have advised Trump are furious today.
Perry, I can't tell you how shocking it is. Number one, because of Steve Bannon's presence. Right. Number two, because of Stephen Miller's presence, who's perhaps the best policy mind on that side of the immigration debate there is from Capitol Hill, who went to the Trump campaign. So to see, knowing who he has surrounded himself with, and it makes it actually that more stunning.
The interview you just had was so fascinating. Congressman Collins compared Trump's shift to Hillary on the TPP. That's not a compliment. People have been mocking Hillary for months for, you know, flip-flopping for obviously strategic reasons. I was shocked Trump's supporters said that. He noted that sometimes you have to change your view from the primary to the general. That's what Mitt Romney did. He got really criticized for that.
But you know how much Trump respects Mitt Romney.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's unusual to do that. But I do think the one thing, that Trump is still for the wall. When I go to events with Trump, the thing that people are most excited about is the wall. Right. If he drops the wall, I think there's a whole different moment in the campaign. But this is a huge flip-flop still.
You know, I think somebody wrote, I think it was my pal over at ABC, Rick Klein, he said he took his immigration policy and shot it in the middle of Fifth Avenue. Right. And he said, basically, he is testing the premise.
He is testing the premise.
Testing the premise of how diehard are his supporters.
And the congressman liked the metaphor, the comparison to the CEO. Well, if the CEO had done this would be, he'd be indicted for fraud. This would be fraud in the inducement. There's a legal term for this. When you make a promise to somebody, you get something of value from them as a result of that promise, and then you break it. This is what got him in trouble at Trump University. I suspect it's going to get him in trouble with his own supporters.
I would say, you know, successful leaders in any field tend to have core principles and core beliefs, and I think what people are coming to see is that Trump has none.
I guess the only flip, look, I will, on the issue of trade, he has been on that. That goes all the way back to '87, the first time he sort of dipped his toe. If he flipped on trade, Perry, then at that point it proves every criticism, which Ted Cruz's chief criticism, and you talked about it, which he has no ideological core.
Because the Muslim ban, he's already sort of, I don't know where he is exactly, but he's kind of moved away from that issue. Immigration now, the wall he's still with so far, trade. If he became more politically correct, I guess that'd be a big flip up as well. I mean, the one thing Collins did say is right, is Trump supporters, I would argue, have nowhere to go. I mean, maybe they can stay home,
and my
but
guess
I do think that he's in a good position to move
Steve,
now.
You're a longtime strategist. That's got to be the case Kellyanne made to him. It's like, hey, look at this. You know, and it is clear to me, I feel like as the polling mind in her, she has seen they've lost a chunk of Republican vote that they have to get back. Republican vote. And immigration and the issues about race and with Hispanics and African Americans seem to be what she is telling them. You've got to fix this.
That's right. Those of us who watch this kind of for a living and for sport are wondering inside the campaign whether Bannon is winning or Kellyanne is winning.
Today, it looks like Kellyanne is winning.
It looks like Kellyanne is winning. But today, Jeb Bush had to wake up again and say, can you believe I lost to this guy?
I can't believe he came out this morning. He did the interview we showed earlier was with Rita Cosby, but what's the rest of National Review going to say today on this? And I mean,
told you so.
I mean, all right, surprise! You guys are going to come back. We'll have more on the other side of the half hour.